My grandma went live to say goodbye before surgery, but halfway through, something else started talking through her. I do not feel like telling you my name for now. I'm 19. I'm the kind of person who double-checks facts, who laughs when people talk about ghosts, who always needs a logical reason for everything. I'm not the type to scare easily. At least, I wasn't. A few months ago, I moved to a quiet neighborhood in Cedar Rapids. It's the kind of place where nothing really happens. Same houses, same lawns, same silence every night. I moved in with my grandma after things got complicated at home. It wasn't supposed to be permanent, just until everything settled down. So yeah, life was normal. School during the day, unpacking boxes in the evening, figuring out where everything goes. My grandma would sit in the living room watching TV or trying to learn how to use TikTok so she could keep up with the family. It was actually kind of funny watching her struggle with filters and comments. Everything felt calm, predictable, until that night. If you were watching that live, would you have stayed till the end? My grandma, her name is Evelyn. She's the kind of person everyone trusts instantly. Soft voice, always smiling, always praying before meals, even if it's just tea and toast. She forgets little things sometimes, like where she left her glasses or what day it is, but nothing serious, just normal aging. A few weeks after I moved in, she got really into TikTok. My cousin set it up for her so she could stay in touch with family, and she treated every live like a little family reunion. She'd sit there, waving at the screen, saying hi to people by name like they were right in front of her. Then she told us she had to go in for surgery. It wasn't supposed to be dangerous or anything, but she kept saying things like, "You never know at my age," and laughing it off. Still, the night before, she said she wanted to go live, just to talk to everyone, just in case. I remember I was in my room when it started, door half closed, sitting on my bed, scrolling. I got the notification, "Grandma Evelyn is live." I almost didn't join, but I don't know, something made me tap it. The house was really quiet that night, like quieter than usual. You could hear everything. The old wooden floors settling, that soft creaking sound they make when the temperature drops. Even the walls felt still. And outside, the backyard, I didn't think much about it at the time, but it always felt darker than it should. No streetlights really reached it, just this stretch of shadow behind the house. So I'm watching the live, right? She's sitting in her usual chair in the living room, lamp on beside her, lighting half her face. She's smiling, waving, saying things like, "Oh, hi, Linda. Hi, James. Thank you for joining." The chat's filling up with hearts and little messages. "We love you. You'll be fine." All that. It felt normal, comforting even. She starts talking about the surgery, saying she's not scared, just wants everyone to know she loves them. She laughs a little, makes a joke about hospital food. Same grandma, same voice. And then she just stops, mid-sentence. Her mouth is slightly open, like she forgot what she was about to say. The video glitches, just for a second, a quick flicker. I thought it was my Wi-Fi. The chat notices too. People start typing, "You froze. We can't hear you." But I could still hear something. It was faint, like breathing. Then she moves again, slowly. Her head tilts just a little, not like she's stretching, more like listening. And when she speaks again, her voice is quieter. Too quiet. Not weak, just lower than it should be. like it's coming from somewhere deeper. And that's when I noticed she wasn't looking at the camera anymore. She just sat there for a second, still angled slightly away from the camera, like she was focused on something in the room that none of us could see. Then she spoke again. At first, it sounded almost normal, but something was off. The tone didn't match her. My grandma's voice is usually warm, a little shaky sometimes, but gentle. This sounded flatter, like someone trying to copy her, but not getting it quite right. The chat picked up on it immediately. "Is your mic glitching? Why does she sound like that? Grandma, are you okay?" I remember leaning closer to my phone, like that would somehow help me hear better. I even adjusted my volume, thinking maybe it was just distortion. Then she turned her head, slowly. Not toward the camera, but slightly past it, like she was looking at someone standing just behind the screen. And when she spoke again, it wasn't her voice anymore. It was a child. Small, thin, soft, but wrong. In a way I can't fully explain, like the sound didn't belong in her body. She said very clearly, "They buried me in the backyard when I was 6. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my brain refused to process it. I thought maybe she was telling some kind of story, or maybe someone was playing a joke, like a filter or voice effect. But my grandma doesn't even know how to use filters. The chat froze for a second, like everyone needed a moment to catch up. Then the messages started flooding in. "What? Stop playing. This isn't funny." I felt this weird tightness in my chest, but I kept telling myself, there's an explanation. There has to be. I grabbed my other phone and started texting my mom. "Are you watching Grandma's live? Something's wrong with her voice." No response. I tried my cousin next. Nothing. Back on the live, my grandma, no, whatever was there, shifted in her chair. Her head tilted again, further this time. Too far, like her neck didn't have the same limits anymore. And then that voice spoke again. Same little girl, same calm tone. "It's cold." A pause. "They keep feeding me." Another pause. Longer this time. Long enough that I could hear this faint crackling sound in the audio, like static mixed with breathing. Then, "Tell them to stop feeding me." I felt my stomach drop. I didn't understand what that meant, but the way she said it didn't sound like a story. It sounded like a message, like she thought someone was actually listening. The camera flickered again, this time longer. The screen stretched for a second, like the image was being pulled apart, then snapped back into place. The chat was chaos now. "This is not funny. Who is that? Turn off the live. Call someone." My hands were shaking, but I couldn't stop watching. And that's when something hit me. The house. We got it way too easily. I remember my mom saying it was a lucky find, way under market price. No bidding, no delays, just available. No one ever talked about who lived here before, not once. And suddenly, I couldn't stop thinking about the backyard, how dark it always looked, how the grass back there didn't grow evenly, like patches of it were thinner than the rest. On the screen, my grandma's face twitched, just for a second, like a glitch, but not digital, more like her expression skipped a frame. Then her head snapped slightly to the side, and I mean snapped, fast, sharp, not natural. The audio distorted with it, like the sound couldn't keep up with the movement. I remember whispering to myself, "No, no, no," but I didn't even realize I was saying it out loud, because at that point, I had a choice. I could close the app, I could put my phone down and pretend none of this was happening, or I could keep watching. So let me ask you, would you have turned off the live or kept watching? Because I stayed, and I wish I didn't. The screen glitched again, harder this time. The image broke into blocks, colors warping, the sound stretching into this low, dragging noise. And when it came back, her face was closer. I don't remember her moving, but she was closer to the camera now, close enough that I could see every detail. Her smile was gone. Her skin looked dull. And her eyes? They weren't eyes anymore. They were completely black. No white, no color, just empty. The chat exploded. "Oh my God! What is wrong with her eyes? Someone go to the house now! This is real! Call 911!" I couldn't breathe. I just stared at the screen, frozen, as that thing wearing my grandma's face slowly leaned in and looked directly into the camera for the first time since it started. And I swear, it felt like it was looking at me. The moment her eyes went completely black, something in me finally broke out of the freeze. My hands moved before my brain caught up. I pulled up my laptop, opened the browser, and started typing like I was trying to outrun what I was seeing on the phone. Old House Records, Cedar Rapids, Iowa property history. My fingers were shaking so badly I kept hitting the wrong keys. On the other screen, the live was still going. Still active. Still her. Or whatever her had become. The chat was screaming now, messages stacked so fast they blurred into a wall of panic. But I couldn't look at that. I couldn't look at her face anymore either. So I focused on the search results. Page after page of property listings, archives, old county records. Then I found it. A scanned document. Old, faded, barely readable. Same address. My address. I felt my stomach drop before I even understood why. I clicked it, and there it was. The house history. It said the property had been owned decades ago by a family with the same last name as mine. My family. My hand stopped moving. I just stared at the screen, reading it again like it would change. It didn't. Then I saw the next line. There had been an incident. A child, missing, never found, no explanation, no resolution, just gone. And something about that detail didn't feel distant. It didn't feel like history. It felt familiar, like I had heard it before but forgotten it on purpose. On the live, my grandma, no, I don't even know what to call her anymore, was still sitting there. But now she was perfectly still, too still. Then slowly, she stood up. The chair creaked loudly, the sound cutting through the distorted audio like it was the only real thing left. Her movements were careful, deliberate, not like an elderly woman struggling to stand, more like something remembering how to use a body. She turned away from the camera and started walking. The camera stayed on. No one stopped it. No one ended it. The chat was begging for it to be shut off, but it just kept rolling like it was waiting for something to finish. She walked through the living room, past the hallway, toward the back door, the one that led to the yard. That backyard. I stood up without realizing it, like my body thought it could reach through the screen and stop her. "Grandma," I whispered, but my voice didn't matter. She reached the door, paused, For the first time since everything started, she turned her head slightly. Not fully, just enough. And she looked directly into the camera, right into me. And she smiled. But it wasn't my grandma's smile. It didn't belong to anything human. It was too calm, too certain, like she had been waiting for this exact moment for a very long time. Then, the screen flickered, just once, but in that flicker, her face changed. It didn't morph slowly, it didn't distort like before. It swapped. For a split second, I saw myself. Not a reflection, not a glitch. Me, standing where she was standing, wearing the same expression, same eyes, same smile. I couldn't even scream. The audio cut for half a second. Total silence. Then the voice came through again. Not the child's voice, not my grandma's. Mine. Soft. Close. Too close. You came back for me. Everything on the screen froze. The chat stopped moving. The live stopped buffering. The house went completely still. Then, the stream ended abruptly. The screen just cut. No warning, no fade, just gone. For a few seconds after that, I couldn't move. I was still standing there in my room, staring at my phone like it might start again if I blinked hard enough. My hands were shaking so much I almost dropped it. Then, I tried calling my mom again. This time, she picked up. Her voice was normal. Too normal. She said Grandma's surgery went fine. She said Grandma was awake. She said Grandma was asking for me. But here's the part that didn't make sense. Grandma said she didn't go live. Not once. Not ever. I remember looking at my phone screen while she said that, just trying to find something, anything that would explain what I just watched. There was nothing. No replay, no record, no trace. But I know what I saw. After that night, things in the house started feeling different. Not in a dramatic way at first, just small things. The backyard door sometimes wasn't locked when I knew I locked it. The grass out there looked uneven, like something had been disturbed under it. And at night, when everything is quiet, I hear things I can't explain. Soft movement near the window, sometimes footsteps in the hallway. Slow, like someone trying not to wake me. I started sleeping with the lights on, but even that doesn't help, because now there's something worse. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, reach for my phone without thinking, and before I even unlock it, I see the notification. You are live. No app open, no recording started, just live. And every time it happens, my hands are already holding the phone like I was the one who started it. But I don't remember pressing record. I don't remember anything after I fall asleep. I tried telling myself it's a glitch. I tried telling myself I'm just stressed. But the backyard still feels wrong, like it's waiting. And sometimes I catch myself looking at it for too long, like I'm expecting something to move back there. So I don't know anymore. I really don't. What do you think was in my grandma? Should I check the backyard? Because if I'm being honest, I don't think I should go out there alone. And if this gets enough likes, I'll show you what I found buried out there. Follow me, because I don't think it's done with me yet.